maneuver 1 will be walk to A, pretty simple. Maneuver 2 is jog from cone A to cone B, and we're making sure that they are on the left side of those cones. Maneuver 3, 360 to the left. Maneuver 4 will be a left lead back to cone B, so you'll have sort of a circular formation there. And then it's very important to pay attention here. Simple lead change is required at cone B, so make sure they throw in at least one walk or jog step there. Right lead, short right lead straight to cone C will be maneuver 6. Maneuver 7, pretty simple, back up, and it doesn't need to be exactly 9 steps. I know it says back 9 steps, but keep in mind they can vary from that a little bit. And then, not written in the pattern, but important to put in your score sheet, they will do a quarter turn to the left, and then they will exit at the extended jog, to the rail. Okay, at rider 1, rather. We're judging the rider and their ability here in this class. So we start with the walk to A, very simple but correct for a 0. Jog to B, I thought she was stationary enough in her seat and lower leg to earn a +1/2. The 360 left starts off good but gets a little disjointed in the conclusion for a 0. Steps off into the left lead correctly while maintaining her seat pretty well. Remains pretty strong in her seat. Maybe a little movement through the knees, but nevertheless, I called it 0 or correct. Now, where we're not correct is maybe through that lead change gets a little sloppy off of the line of travel for a -1. The right lead's short, but correct nonetheless for a 0. Back I thought was straight enough for a +1/2. Quarter turn to the left. Was snappy and correct enough with her staying stationary in her seat enough for her to end with a +1/2 maneuver there on maneuver 8. I gave her an F and E a score of 2, and remember those scores go from 1 to 5, or really 0 to 5, so I gave her a score of 2 for an ending score of 72.5. Here we're on a sorrel. This girl approaches the pattern at the walk with a really strong position. Nonetheless, it's a walk, can't show much there. I'm going to call it a 0. And as we step off into the jog, I feel her position and the cadence she maintains warrants a +1/2. And then we get here into the turn, which I think is quick and level enough with her maintaining her seat well enough to earn a +1.5. Steps right off into the left lead lope while maintaining her seat. Completes that for a +1. Earns a disqualification here for performing a flying lead change as opposed to a simple lead change. So she is officially disqualified there. If I were to keep scoring the right lead, I called a +1. The back, I called a +1.5. Nice, quick, straight. And the turn and extended jog, I called a +1. While she has a very nice seat and executes a lot of portions of those patterns very well, she does incur a disqualification on maneuver 5 for a flying lead change. Number 3 approaches with a extremely nice seat and authority. I called the walk a 0. She steps off into the jog with an extremely strong seat and lower leg for a +1.5. Goes for the degree of difficulty there in the 360 turn, but maybe lacks some execution for a -1/2. Here in the left lead, I think she's extremely strong and has a nice line of travel for a +2. Simple lead change, +1. We're here on the right lead for a +1/2. Maybe could have been a tick straighter. The back I thought was really nice and cadenced and straight for a +2. And that quarter turn and some real nice extension here to the rail for a +1. Overall, I think this rider really dominates in terms of degree of difficulty, in addition to her seat and her position throughout her body, which really allows her to execute a more efficient pattern. I gave her an F and E of 4, and her ending score for me was an 81.5. Okay, so rider 4 in the horsemanship Starts off with the incorrect horsemanship position, especially in the upper body, for a -1 at the walk. And this carries over into the jog for a -1. So shows some efficiency and speed in the turnaround, so I forgive her there with a 0. But again, we're back to the incorrect upper body here at the left lead for a -1. We DQ here with a flying lead change. And if I were to continue to score her, we're -1 for the rest of the way out in terms of the back and the quarter turn and the extended jog, just because of the incorrect position. Nothing to take away from her riding ability, just violates the purpose of the class.